allowed to ask that?
No.
Sup, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to talk about another crush fail. This is the second crush fail that I have had since I had graduated high school, and I'm not going to make a video about the first one because honestly, it was not that eventful. But this one was, and you know, I was really split on whether or not I would consider this a Mazytime work story because my Burger King employment barely had anything to do with this event, but I decided I would put it up as a Mazytime work story because Burger King did have some involvement to the story, and it is indeed relevant. Maybe not all that relevant, but it did have enough relevance that I decided this is indeed a work story. Though yes, of all of my work stories, Burger King did have the least amount of relevance to this one, partly because most of what I'm going to talk about didn't even take place at my actual work, and partly because if I didn't work there, this never would have happened. Also, this was a very awkward and difficult script to write, because I could have said anything that I didn't want to say, and I needed to think every single little thing through while scripting this, and I don't want to talk about, like, something that doesn't involve me in a video that is open for pretty much anybody to see. So this video was very difficult and very awkward to script. So anyways though, on to the awkwardly and difficultly script video. It all started on a normal day, where I was just taking drive-thru orders and handing them out. Normal people doing normal stuff, right? I had some elderly people, I had this really cute girl with frizzy hair, a few guys and their buddies, perfectly normal, right? One of my real-life friends even came in and asked me if I wanted to hang out that night. And so I had nothing better to do, so that's what I did after my shift. Normal day, normal rush, everything is fine. Once I finished with the rush, I went and I cleaned the restrooms.
Apply a dime-sized amount of cream cleanser on the white scratch pad side of the sponge and scour the inside of the bowl.
And then I refilled the ice.
To make a quality ice surface, you have to build up the ice in layers, each about 2 millimeters thick. Driving in the standard outside to inside oval pattern, each layer takes just 8 minutes.
And did pretty much everything I needed to. Mopping the lobby, listening to Kenny Loggins, Whitney Houston, and a bunch of others 80s stuff. But while I was doing that, the girl that came in through the drive-thru earlier that day came back into the lobby, the one with the frizzy hair. And I was thinking, oh no, did I forget something? Because usually customers come back in when either we forgot something or if they decide they're not done ordering food. I was pretty taken aback when she walked straight up to me because usually they order food at the front counter and not directly in front of the first person that they see wherever it is they may be standing. So yeah, this girl from the drive-thru walks in straight up to me and she asked me if I had a girlfriend. And you guys should already know the answer to that.
It's kind of like fate, and I hated Marco. I hated him because I thought he was some sort of skirt chaser, but it turns out he really loves her, and she really loves him back, and okay. I kissed him.
Of course.
No, it's all gone terribly wrong somehow.
And that is why I didn't date in high school. I answered no, and then she gave me her number because she thought I was really cute. Here's the thing. You guys don't know what I look like, so from what you guys are probably concerned, I'm actually ultra cap. So you guys are probably going to have to trust that I am at least somewhat decent looking, at least for now. I kind of thought about this little encounter for the entire rest of the night when a random girl just came in and handed her number to me, and then left. I was kind of shook the entire rest of the night because it's not every day that something like this happens. I got home that night and then I went to my friend's house and that was pretty much all I could think of the entire time I was there. And then I was practically bullied into texting her the next day. I finally did, and then we arranged to meet at a donut shop. We got on the day, we agreed to meet, and then once we got there, we sat at a table, and then we just talked for 2 hours. And this was like the second or third time we saw each other after the little Burger King encounter, so there was a lot to talk about. By the way, this was when I had gotten off my shift, so of course I wasn't talking to her on the clock. I don't do that. I talked to her about some of the stuff that I have talked to you guys about in some of my older videos, and vice versa. By the way, she doesn't make YouTube videos. And it was pretty nice. So yeah, we talked for about 3 hours about life stories, random stuff, and then before we took off, she asked for a kiss. Yeah, the second or third encounter, and she's already wants to kiss me, so obviously I declined it. The reason being is because I like to take things one step at a time. I needed to mentally prepare myself if I was going to make this a thing, and more importantly, I needed to know her a little bit better. I was not going to dive headfirst into it because that's just not what I do. And trust me, I got to know her a little bit better. 3 weeks later, we went out again, this time to see a movie, and then we walked around in a nearby mall for 3 hours. So we spent about 4 or 5 hours total with each other. And I was actually thinking about making it official the next time we saw each other, but then things went downhill. That's all I'm gonna say, is that things went downhill from there. I'm not gonna share every single detail. All I'm gonna say is that in late December, both of us decided together that it was just best not to be a couple. It had already been over a month since we had last saw each other, and the relationship honestly was not the way to go. Looking back on it, I am not all that bummed, because if I had decided to go with a relationship and or jump straight into it out of the first encounter, if I had accepted, if I had decided to kiss her on the third encounter and make it official then, my life would have sucked. So I decided that I wasn't going to ruin her life by becoming her boyfriend and then eventually breaking it up down the line, because that is what would have happened, and she wasn't going to ruin my life either. It's one thing just to ditch something early if you guys already know what the result is going to be, and then it's another thing to just take it anyways, and the next thing you know...
How can I remember to forget when my heart just won't let me make myself unlove you? Tell me that it's not.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got to say. Honestly, the highlight of this video was that I got a phone number through the Burger King drive-thru, and I guess I have bragging rights now. I think, maybe. I don't know. And that's all I'm gonna say about this. And you know, just to pad the video out a little bit more, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my ideal dates and what I have planned for the future in case if I meet somebody else down the line, because that's bound to happen. A lot of people usually take their girlfriends out to eat at a restaurant, particularly a fancy one, or an expensive one, like IHOP as their first dates. I don't do stuff like that, or intend to, because it'd just be awkward, especially for a person like me that doesn't exactly find it incredibly easy talking to people I barely know. My ideal date is either a movie, bowling, or something else really exciting. I don't remember who it was that told me, but a good date is when the two go out and do something exciting, and there's like nothing to eating out. It's really just talking the entire time. And even though that's kind of what I did this time around, I tried to avoid eating out, even though it can sometimes be somewhat of a decent icebreaker. I'm sure all you guys have your preferences. I'm sure you guys all have ideas on what you think a good date is. But I'm not here to argue that your idea is a bad idea. I'm just sharing my idea with you guys. Anyways, though, that's the video. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing. Stay safe, don't die, and don't just dance with any random person that you see.